Good evening, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order with a reminder to go ahead and silence those electronic devices. Thank you. Also, there will be a video and audio recording of this school board meeting made available in the usual places. Ms. Williams, can I get a roll call?
Yes, Madam Chair. Mr. Paul Alexander.
Here.
Ms. Stacy Cyberling.
Here.
Dr. Shantae Jones.
Here.
Ms. Ellen Slobodnik.
Here.
Ms. Rachel Kirkland.
Here.
Madam Chair, all are present.
Very good. All right. Ms. Cyberling, could you go ahead and lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Do we have any additions or corrections to the agenda?
No.
Seeing none, can I get a motion for approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See no opposition, the motion carries. All right. Next up, Superintendent Spotlight.
Madam Chair,
Consent agenda.
the consent agenda, please.
Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. Can I get a motion for approval of consent agenda? Can I get a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? See no opposition, motion carries. Sorry about that. All right, Superintendent Spotlight now. It's just so excited having all these people here.
That's right. Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. We have so much to celebrate tonight. As you can see, we have packed the house with students from Manassas Park High School. And what a good problem we have tonight that we have to fill every seat because we have so many students to recognize.
Microphone. you turn
Am
the
I
mic-
off?
You're off.
Red is on.
Green is on.
Keep pressing until it's green.
It's green? It was green?
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll try again.
Okay, cool.
Either way, we have a full house to present to you tonight. So we are going to go ahead and run through who we have here tonight. So first off, we have DECA Club. 16 students from Manassas Park High School competed recently in the DECA competition at the beginning of March against 3,500 other students from across Virginia. DECA, which stands for Distributed Education Club of America, prepares emerging leaders and entrepreneurs for careers in marketing, finance, hospitality, and management in high schools and colleges around the globe. Manassas Park had 4 students who were state finalists in the DECA competition. Congratulations go out to Josh Martinez, Nehemiah Thomas Sanchez, Eli Aravello, and Maxwell Lucamuzzi. Out of these 4 students of the team, Josh Martinez and Nehemiah Thomas Sanchez qualified for the DECA International Conference that will be held in Orlando, Florida at the end of April. The DECA experience starts in the classroom where students learn business concepts in preparation for college and careers. A powerful instructional component, DECA brings the classroom to life by empowering the teacher advisor to make learning relevant with education programs that integrate into classroom instruction, apply learning, connect to business, and promote competition. The successful integration of each of these 4 interconnected components, also part of DECA's guiding principles, results in a strong program that produces college and career-ready students. Our students are here this evening, joined by their club sponsor, Doug West. Please join me in congratulating Mr. West and these students.
Come on down. I don't bite.
Right there with flags in the background. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Congratulations. All right, next up tonight, we want to spotlight the National Women in Roofing. Students from Manassas Park High School participated in the National Women in Roofing Academy on March 6th through 10th, 2023. NBC4 featured the students learning hands-on skills through a unique on-site training program at Beacon Building Products in Manassas. The week-long program is an introduction to the roofing and construction industry put on through a partnership between the D.C. Metro Council and the National Women in Roofing, NWIR, and Manassas Park High School. Dr. Saunders and I had a chance to go and visit, and if you'll see in that top picture there, we were there on one of the last days before the graduation from the program, and you can see that the girls actually did put an entire roof on. They went all the way up around the top. They had nail guns going. We were very impressed at their efficiency, their confidence, and actually what a great job they did. I mean, I would hire them to put my roof on. They did a fantastic job. So we want to go ahead and spotlight them. I don't know if any of them are here with us tonight, but I'll call out their names. We have Genesis Barahona Lopez, Fernanda Cruz, Sarai Escobar, Mariana Galvin Lugo, Leslie Guzman, Fabiola Hernandez Menejavar, Sonia Lopez Bernal, Daniela Marcia Escobar, Natalie Mendoza, Emily Quintanilla Morejon, and Jasmine Valiz.
Height's killer for me. Oh, congrats.
And if you want to watch that program, if you missed it on NBC4, it is still on their website. You can go to their website and search it, and you can watch the video there. They did interview some of our girls as well.
I love that title of the argument.
Okay, next up tonight, we are going to spotlight some of our state athletes from Manassas Park High School. So we're going to recognize two sports tonight. We have wrestling and swim. If any of you are familiar with high school athletics, you know that it takes a whole lot getting up to the state competition. What you see there is the end result, but what you don't see are all the days and the hours of practice and training and getting up at 5 in the morning and staying at school until 6 o'clock at night. And that can't be done without the help of their coaches as well. So tonight we want to recognize our state athletes and their coaches. So first up for swim, our state athletes in swim from the high school, Joey Valenti, Magnus Hill, Guillermo Neri Sanchez, Coy Vu, Jonathan Lamb, and they were under the direction of head coach Maurice Stevens and assistant coach Stephen Elliott. In wrestling, we had a state champion in wrestling. So tonight, if you'll see behind me, we want to spotlight Jose Alvarez Portillo as our state champion in wrestling, and he was under the head coach, Corey Rodriguez, and the assistant coach, Herman Carter. And I think they might all be, or most of them are here with us tonight, if you guys want to come on up.
I know. I feel so short. By the swimmers. Yeah. Congratulations, Becky.
And finally tonight, Manassas Park High School was recently given the Blue Ribbon Award for being a Blue Ribbon School of Music. It is the highest award given to schools' music programs in the Commonwealth of Virginia and recognizes achieved excellence in band, orchestra, and choral performance. All disciplines in a school must receive a rating of superior at assessment to qualify for this award. The mission of the Virginia Music Educators Association is to provide leadership and professional development to ensure quality music education. And the Virginia Music Educators Association has once again named Manassas Park High School as a Blue Ribbon School for Music. We want to spotlight some of our students who are here tonight. From our choir, we have Carla Argueta, Sarah Damon, Ace Damon, Jennifer Gamero Gonzalez, and Crystal Romero Mayen. And they're joined by choral director Christina Schenk. From our symphonic band, we have Chloe Ferguson, Sienna Hargest, Gabrielle Lopez, Josh Witz, and they're joined by band director Molly Brolaski. Thank you so much. You guys come on up. Oh, and Miles. And Miles, yes. They're gonna have to get called. Something's gonna happen.
Another for me?
Make like shoulder. Yes. Squeeze them all. There you go. Oh, we got it. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, and one more. Thank you. Workout tonight. Oh, yeah.
I couldn't resist.
And I just want to take a moment to not only emphasize how talented and dedicated our students are, but every single one of these students is supported by one of our staff members. And our staff members are also getting up early in the morning and staying late at night to support these students in their development. So we want to say thank you to our staff members that continue to support and encourage our students to be the best that they can be. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any comments from the board?
Oh, Miles has one.
I just really wanted to say congratulations to everybody. DECA, big congratulations to everyone who participated. Nemo and Maxwell, congratulations to both of you. Oh, Josh as well, and Ellie, congratulations. NWIR, if I got that right, congratulations. That was really cool. I could never do anything like that, so kudos to you guys. Our swim athletes, I see Joey and Magnus in the back. Congratulations to you guys. Jose, shout out to Jose for bringing the state championship home this year. And most of all, congratulations to our choir and band. I've been a part of both of those programs since I was in 6th grade. Band not anymore, but I've been in choir since 6th grade, and I can truly say that our directors put in the time and the effort to really make sure that we are ready for our concerts, and our performances are reflective of them. And I just want to say thank you to Ms. Shank, thank you to Mix B. Also, welcome again to Manassas Park. I know this is your first year, and this is a big feat for, getting a 1 for symphonic band your first year here. So shout out to you, and shout out to all my choir kids in the back. I see you all, and I love you very much.
I don't think we can
Yeah,
say
none
any
of us
better
could top
than
that.
To be honest.
None of us can top
I had a
that.
list, but I don't think.
I can top him, actually. I just want to say how impressive it is for the students, and I want to really point out that regardless of sports or DECA or the extracurriculars are a critical part of the development for kids. So I really want to thank all of you guys for participating and going beyond doing just the things that involve the going to classes and getting good grades, like the work that your coaches and your teachers are putting in. Thank you for all those extra hours. I know my kids' coaches see my kids more than I do, so I really appreciate everything. And you guys don't realize how much your peers are watching. I mean, when Jose was at States, my kids were checking their phone every hour to find out how he was doing. Like, it's really, you guys don't really understand how much people are paying attention. So I just want you to thank you all for everything you guys are doing for Manassas Park.
Yeah, I'll pile on that. First of all, an apology for all the coughing. It's that time of the year for me, and I hate it. It is amazing to see what our students are capable of. I had some contact with the band when I was coming through. I have some familiarity with wrestling, so all of these things are really kind of relevant to me. I want to learn how to use a nail gun. I think I need to talk to you later, because honestly, that just blows me away. The doors that are open, and I wish I had that sort of ability and resilience like promoted within me when I was a kid. Everything was very, very gendered, and to my detriment. And I just think that is a phenomenal opportunity. And I love seeing students, regardless of who they are, where they are, taking advantage of all the opportunities in front of them. So thank you all so much for coming. We're going to give you a hot second. If you're more than welcome to stay for public comments and the rest of the board meeting, but if you have more interesting things to do, we, of course, understand and invite you to step out if you wish. Ms. Williams, do we have anyone for public comments?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay. Moving on to new business, human resources. I knew it.
I wonder where all these people are
I'm
going.
going to take a little minute for myself over here. Bye. Thank you all.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you all.
You represented them well.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Okay, moving on to human resources, recruiting and retention. Dr. Saunders.
Madam Chair, I'd like to welcome Ms. Tia Halstead, our Executive Director of Human Resources, to provide some updates and introduce some staff members.
Perfect.
All right. So good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. It is my pleasure to present and provide an update on our HR changes and HR initiatives. The HR goals align with the strategic plan. So I do want to discuss a little bit about the redesign of the HR team. I am extremely proud of the enhancements we have made as a team. This has been a process we have been committed to for improving and streamlining the HR process for over 2 years. I do have to give credit to my amazing HR team for working extremely hard. And I do want to thank Dr. Saunders for believing in my vision and providing that support. So just the high level, I'm the Executive Director of HR, and my core responsibilities is employee relations, Title IX, HR regulations, and of course, leading a dynamic team. I am going to introduce Debbie Strayhorn in a little bit, but her core duties are recruitment, management, talent acquisition, employee relations, and the mentorship program. We have Madison Tiller as our HR generalist. She handles all the payroll management and benefits management. Rebecca Wills is new to the HR team. She is responsible for the onboarding for our new hires, benefits, license, offboarding, and she managed the lower level campus. Then we have Rhonda Green. She has been promoted, so I'm excited about that. She handles the secondary campus, the onboarding, the benefits, the license, and the offboarding. And we have Dana Williams, our HR assistant. She manages the full cycle recruitment for our substitutes. So those are some of the changes with our team, and again, I am extremely proud of this redesign. All right, now I get to welcome Debbie Strayhorn. Debbie is a Director of Talent Management, and she has been a core asset to the HR team. And she will present on our retention and recruitment initiatives. I do want to provide a few fun facts about Debbie Strayhorn. Debbie joined us in August of 2022. Debbie has a long, successful career at Fairfax County Public Schools, where she served as a SPED teacher, an AP, and a principal. Debbie did begin her career overseas in Spain as a SPED teacher and a SPED chair. Debbie is from Monroe, New York, and has attended a similar size school as Manassas Park City Schools. And Debbie has told me she's very fortunate to be back in a small school setting. Again, she has provided so much value, and I'm so happy to have her on the team, and she will present on our retention and recruitment strategies.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. I had the chance to meet a few of you at New Teacher Orientation, so it's nice to be here. As Tia mentioned, our HR department has grown a lot and improved our processes. Just since I've arrived, we were able to implement a new recruiting and hiring system, which I'm very proud of. It's called Frontline. If any of you go to our homepage on Human Resources, you'll see it. What it does, it makes things much simpler for our candidates when they apply. It's simpler for our hiring managers. But what I love most about it is we are now recruiting nationally. We are being shown on K-12 JobSpot. We're being shown on Top School Jobs, which is a national publication. And, of course, Indeed picks up all our jobs now. So without me having to do anything, we automatically get advertised nationally. We've hired 2 new generals that I work very closely with, Rebecca and Rhonda. One does the lower, one does the upper, and the 3 of us work together to be sure positions are posted timely, offers are made timely, and they get pushed to onboarding, and it's all very seamless through Frontline. I was very fortunate to have Dr. Saunders and Dave allow us to have some recruitment bonuses this year. We have a $3,000 relocation bonus to teachers coming more than 250 miles away, and we're also offering a $1,000 early sign-on bonus to teachers hired before June 15th. And many of our local competitors are not offering these relocation incentives, so it kind of helps us when we go to fairs and we sit next to big divisions like Loudoun when we're offering relocation and they're not. Hold on, now I got to do this too. Okay. We were selected to apply with George Mason and Fairfax and Loudoun for a planning grant for a Department of Labor VDOE teacher apprentice program. Nice. So right now we're in the planning stages of applying for this amazing grant. And if we get the grant, we will be able to use the money to pay apprentices. So we would pay student teachers to come on board to be in a classroom with a mentor teacher and pay them to actually work as an apprentice, no job responsibilities, and there'll be tuition remission so they won't pay for school. So we want to pay them to be student teachers and we want to pay their tuition. So we're trying to get a pipeline, and it's a very exciting grant, and Little Manassas Park is working with Fairfax and Loudoun, so I feel very accomplished in getting that grant. The key to teacher preparation, with the right preparation, leads to retention. So if we can actually prepare teachers and have them have 2 years in a classroom learning and student teaching, that will prepare them and retain them. We've also established student teaching partnerships. Recently this year, we are partnering with Western Governors University, WGU. It's an online campus, and they have a lot of student teachers that want to be in Manassas Park. And of course, we partner with Mason and University of Phoenix, Nova, Liberty, Shenandoah. What this does for us is it creates a pipeline for successful student teachers. We can offer them right at the end of their student teaching and have them want to work in our schools. So that is a very nice pipeline. Additionally, we're focusing on hiring teachers who resemble our students. So we have made a huge push this year to go to Texas to find Spanish-speaking students, Hispanic students. Next week, I'm off to Texas A&M, College Station, and Texas State University, where all of their teacher candidates not only are bilingual, but they also are duly endorsed in special ed and/or ESOL, which, as you know, are some key critical hiring areas. We're also working with HBCUs, trying to figure out how to recruit those students. And what I've learned is that it's important for us to get on their campuses, in their departments, not necessarily going to fairs. So starting next year, we're trying to hone the relationships with our local HBCUs to be a presence on campus to speak with their students. I've also learned that they have conferences that we could attend and then set up a little table and a booth and talk to the conference participants about our school system, and that's another kind of in to recruit teachers other than a job fair. I'm very excited that we have partnered with RCC Solutions, which is a company out of New York who specializes in recruiting international teachers. And what happens is that company will help us sponsor H-1B visas. And these visas not only bring the educator who's experienced, licensed, but it allows them to bring their families, and that attracts more of those teachers because they want their kids to go to U.S. schools. And they are guaranteed to stay with us for 3 years, with the possibility of extending another 2 to 3. And again, many of the local districts don't want the hassle of these H-1B visas, so it's a lot of paperwork on my end and on RCC's end, and some financial commitments from us and from the student teacher, or the teachers, the experienced teachers, so we're getting experienced teachers. so far we've hired 3 teachers, 2 from the Philippines and 1 from South America. And it takes about 3 months to get a teacher through the whole process and get them here. So we will have definitely these 3, and we have until May to get them here before school starts. And I have lots of resumes going to the principals, and they're all very experienced teachers. We will continue our local recruiting trips to Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Maryland, New York, North Carolina. And what I've learned on these recruiting trips, and I've kind of created a network of recruiters, so Montgomery County, Fairfax, and Loudoun, we've sort of created a professional learning community where we work together, and I'm the newest member, so they are helping me, show me the ropes, and have given me tips on how to go to certain fairs, which ones to go to. We talk about just the woes and the accolades of recruiting, and they've been really helpful, so that in addition to finding teachers at these events, I find mentors for myself and learn some tricks. So that's been very nice. What you see here, I wasn't here, but this is the retention data from 21-22. And so as you can see, the percent of resignations by reason, basically we lost 1/3 of our staff to other. They didn't really elaborate. 1/3 went to other divisions, and the other 1/3 for relocation, family, or left the profession. Of the teachers who left to go to other divisions, it looks like 1/3 of them went to Prince William, 1/3 went to other Virginia school districts, and then the other 1/3 you can see are these other districts. I'll give you a minute to look at that. So in our day-to-day work, we hear from staff, at least I hear from staff often, that the number one thing that keeps them here or brings them to Manassas Park is our culture of family and developing meaningful relationships with their colleagues. They're very excited to share that they feel like it's family. They have people that support them every day. And the second thing they say is why they stay and come is to see the kids, to see how much they grow and learn, and those light bulb moments just make it so much better to be here in a small division. To attract experienced teachers, we are giving credit for years of service. So if they have 20 years in another district, we will credit their 20 years, which again is sometimes more than what other districts do. We've also retained teachers because of the pay scale is now transparent. It has been competitive. And so if you looked at the graphic before, only 2 teachers last year said they left because of pay. So I think changing these pay scales has had a dramatic effect in retention. Another thing I'm very excited about is we have a great pool of instructional assistants who I'm hoping to tap for these apprentice program, but also in my travels, there is a program between Nova and Mason that's called the Advanced Program, which will give them an accelerated bachelor's degree and a teaching license within 3 to 4 years. So I'm giving out a lot of that information to our instructional assistants who don't currently have degrees, but have the talent and want to become teachers. So I see our IA as a large pool for potential teachers. The benefit of us being such a small district is that we, the directors and executive directors, are always in the schools, constantly speaking to our staff and looking for ways to address any of their needs to retain them in the division. So these are a few additional ways we are trying to keep teachers in our division, expanding our tuition reimbursement and professional development, building on our mentorship, continuous improvement efforts, and also having our executive team members go into the buildings to support our administrators with their leadership and development. And this concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Yeah.
I'll start this way and move.
You go first.
Oh, I just had a comment.
Okay.
I just wanted to express my thanks to the HR team for your initiative to increase the diversity of the staff. I think it's really amazing what you're doing. And I wanted to say that not only are you increasing our staff, but you're also adding to our community by bringing people from outside and giving them that opportunity to be here in this strong community that was recognized as one of the reasons why people stay. So thank you for your hard work. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I just had a question on 9, the pie charts. So beyond this, just kind of something to think about, and what I'd like to see in the future is, we already know that they're leaving, and they've decided to leave. But on the way out, if we could start gathering some of the information, like what did we do well? What could we do better? And those are the charts that I would like to see, is what are some of the things that they're saying we could do better with? I think that's more important in some ways, or as more important than sometimes even why they left in the first place. Because you're probably going to get a pretty, hopefully, honest answer at that point. The second thing I just had a question. The apprenticeship program, will those years count for them as far as their step-in salary if they were to come and stay and work for us?
Unfortunately, no, they would be considered teacher prep. They'd be student teaching for 2 years.
Okay.
So they would not have classroom responsibilities per se, but they would be student teaching for 2 years.
It might be nice if we could even consider it like a half year, so that if they stay with Manassas Park versus going somewhere else, when they are full-fledged teachers, that maybe...
I forgot to mention, part of the apprenticeship program is that they must sign a commitment letter to stay in the division for 2 to 3 years. And we're going to work that out when the 3 divisions in Mason are going to work out the details of what we're going to ask. But yes, that is part of the grant, that they must stay, since we're allocating salary and tuition.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's it. And I also want to echo, yes, the same comments. Thank you for diversifying. The students do want different types of teachers and people that look like them. It's important.
Agreed.
Makes learning easier, quite frankly.
So I just have a question also on the charts.
Everybody loves
Your
the
favorite
chart.
slide, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Color.
So specifically associated with the other category and the jobs in the other division, being that that's 57% of the whole of who's leaving. I see that you mentioned only 2 people cited benefits and compensation as the reason for leaving, but I'm just curious, does that bleed into the jobs with other division? Because I would imagine most people are typically leaving to other local divisions. I mean, obviously traffic and commuting is part of it, but there's so many divisions close by, the differentiators in most cases really are salary and benefits. So I was just kind of curious where the differentiator was with jobs with other divisions versus where they're going to earn more versus salary. What's the difference in those 2 categories? Does that question make sense?
It does. I don't think I have the answer to the question.
Right.
I too wasn't here last year.
Yeah, no. I think that's kind of to getting at, like, maybe for a future breakdown. It just seems to be logical that they're leaving. Obviously, if they're going to Manassas, they're leaving for something. It's 5 minutes away. It's not the commute. So what is it? So that's kind of what I'd just be interested to know. Having that category as another division is great, but it would lead me to believe that that's somewhere in the salary and compensation, field. So.
Possibly.
Or others. That's why the follow-up on how did we do? What did we do well? What could we improve on? Because sometimes they say it's just another job there's something more there, right? There's a lot more there. I agree.
And we are removing other from our exit surveys, and we will categorize it in different categories to get that data.
Thank you.
We are working to get that done.
I appreciate it. And I love the initiatives. I've always thought about tapping into the local pipelines using Mason. I think the teachers from abroad, that's awesome. I never even thought about that, but it's fantastic. Thank you.
We can stay on that slide.
I haven't moved it.
But it kind of is the same, in line with Paul's question, just about do we know if any of those reasons co-occurred with another? So were they only able to choose one, or could they choose more than one reason?
They could only choose the one reason, so we are going to work on that survey.
Okay.
And we did still have others there, but we are going to get more specific on the reasons that will help us.
Okay, thank you. And then the teacher apprenticeship program, great. I think it's amazing. Is there a cap on the number of teachers that we're able to pull to have into that program?
I think it's going to amount to how much we get for the grant, and then how much the cost is for benefits and salary and tuition. So the districts are all getting together with Mason because we're trying to come up with, it'll be a little different for us because obviously we're smaller and I'm not going to have as many as a Fairfax or a Loudoun, but we're trying to, that's what this planning grant is for, so we're trying to tease out how we're going to write it. I would say, I don't know yet because it depends. They haven't released. They just put out funding for, we weren't ready for the funding, but they just put out funding for March, and the grant was for up to $100,000. But they claim the pot of gold is bigger for May when they're going to call for the grant, so we're assuming it's going to be more money per district. But we're not sure. They're framing it. Tennessee has an amazing apprenticeship program that we're going to try to formulate ours from their what they've learned from their apprentice program, and this is also through the Department of Labor. So it's kind of based on like a plumbing apprentice or an electrician apprentice. So this is a different kind of apprentice where they want the way it's written, and we're still getting some information from the state, but they want people who already have 60 credits in, which is kind of why I'm pushing some of our IAs to, if they have a few credits, and look at this program and get your associates through Mason so you would qualify. So we still have a lot of questions.
Okay.
And then we have to apply and then get the grant.
Okay.
I had a question.
I had one more question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead,
So-
Dr.
Would there be, like, what type of support would there be for mentor teachers?
That's part of the grant money as well. We're hoping for a sizable stipend for those teachers, somewhere in like the $5,000 to $8,000 range, to get teachers to want to do it. So you're going to have to pay them. So that's also going to be part of the grant that we're talking about, of what is a fair stipend for the amount of work they're going to do.
Housing. Ask about housing. And housing. What about housing?
Housing for the teachers internationally?
I was going to follow on to that one. So in addition to Stacy's, I wanted to ask about the relocation expenses for a whole family coming, like how do they handle it?
Well, part of, so that's part of the contract we have with RCC. The company actually is going to be coming down here to do a site visit in the next few weeks, and they help the person from abroad find housing. I will work with them, obviously, to give them apartment information or housing. In fact, we were at a job fair in Buffalo, and I think I've almost recruited this fabulous special ed teacher from Canada. She came to the job fair because we were right on the border, and she wants to come, so I've put her in touch with RCC, and she's actually coming Wednesday and Thursday of this week to look at the area, and I put her in touch with a realtor and some hotel information, so we're trying to help her with housing. But I think RCC would also help her, but she wants to make, since she's so close, she's going to drive down. I mean, so close, but close.
I did have a question. I know you were talking about apprenticeship programs and like at Mason and like universities. Is there a possible way we can start that at the high school level? Because I know a couple of students that are looking into becoming teachers, myself included. And are there ways we can look into keeping those students and like trying to get them back to Manassas Park?
Yeah, well, Miles, you read my mind. I would love to see us have a Teachers for Tomorrow program here. We are a small division, and I look to Ms. Wolf. I know there's CTE is where it would be housed in, and it's finding the teachers with the right credentials and to have the right courses, but that is something I've been talking to your principal about. A Teachers for Tomorrow program that other districts have. My own daughter did it for 2 years. It's a lovely program. They either want to be teachers or they've saved their parents a lot of money and they don't want to be teachers. But no, and so absolutely. And I would like to find a way, and maybe I can also work with Ms. Wolf and your principal, to send out some surveys to graduates if they're interested. We have a student who graduated a few years ago who's applied to be a teacher, and I encouraged him to come over break and substitute teach. So he's been doing that. So if I can start getting to know the kids, and I'll send out some information. I think, Ms. Williams, correct me, they would need 2 years of college to be able to sub? Is that, no? They do not.
No, they do not.
Oh, okay. So when you graduate and you come back for break, we'll get you to apply to be a substitute.
I was going to add that is, I've had so many of my former students in our neighboring division come back to substitute. I would encourage anyone who is going to college, if you are interested in potentially working in public education, in teaching, please sign up with us here to substitute on your breaks, on your, contact them in the spring to see if they need assistance with summer school. There are opportunities to build that experience now.
You might as well get a list from Mr. Forrest and maybe start sending out some correspondence to recent grads. I did not know that. In neighboring divisions, you had to have a 2-year degree in order to substitute. So I didn't know that. So that opens up a larger pool.
And I think honestly it should be just the high school. Given the substitute shortage that many of us are experiencing in education, I think, it's short-sighted to limit it to 2-year associate.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, so I think my only question, if everybody else has had theirs.
I'll go after you. I still have a couple more.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Okay, just about the housing again, the apprenticeship program, are we looking at making sure they make enough money so they can afford some housing
We are
locally?
trying, the goal would be to pay a livable wage.
Okay.
And there has to also be built into the Department of Labor grant an increase after X number of months, or there needs to be 2 increases. So that's something I'll have to work out with Dr. Saunders and Dave. But we are looking to pay probably more along the lines of an IA wage.
Okay. Just need something that, where they're not having to have a second job at night to make ends meet. Just that thought. And then on the chart again, the category I was really referring to wasn't just the other, but also job with other division. It was nicely broken down where they went, but why? Like, why did they go there? And I don't know if that was already phrased. But yeah.
We'll break the questions down in this year's survey so we can get at the why.
A little more, why?
Yeah. Okay, the last question, because the board has covered it so fantastically well with all of their lines of questioning. Just with the contracted services for the visa program, how do you work to ensure good match between the incoming person and administration, building, culture? If you're locking somebody into 3 years for that, and it's tied to a visa, it gives some, I would imagine it would give some impetus to making the situation work, but not everything, is workable. Do we have some ability to, do we have a way, if it's not a good match, to encourage them to,
So part of the contract that we signed with the company is that they stand by their people 100%, and if for some reason it's not a match, it's not working for them, it's not working for us, they guarantee to replace that teacher at no cost to us.
Okay, fair enough.
And we've purposely hired 2 to go to the high school so that they're from the Philippines, they probably don't know each other, but they would be in the high school, so they would be a comfort to one another.
Right.
And then the department chairs have sat in on the interviews. I sat in on one round, the assistant principal and the department chair sat in on the other. So there is hope that, not hope, they know that they need to mentor these people more so than any other new teacher, because we're talking about assimilation to a whole new country.
Yeah.
So there's a commitment.
Okay.
To do that, to make this work.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I think it's a rich opportunity, especially in a community as diverse as ours, to bring in people, whether it's through this program or through recruiting in other states, to have a diversity within the teacher pool as well as our students. So I think that's phenomenal. I so appreciate the restructuring. I remember wasn't too long ago where we didn't even have a director of HR. So I am deeply grateful for all of the work the entire department, but especially you, Tia, have put forward in this. So kudos to you. Thank you so much. And with that, I will move us on to board member comments, and we've talked a lot already. Any board members have any additional comments? No. Okay.
One more.
Well,
Chatty cat. I do this every meeting. You guys should be used to it now.
Another question for me, Miles?
No, it's just.
You can go. You're free. Thank you so much.
But I would also like to shout out the Human Resources Department for working to diversify our teaching staff. That's been something very important to me, and I know I've had a lot of classmates that haven't had a teacher that looked like them, so thank you very much for working to do that. Also, if any students are watching, I know you're probably not, but you're going to hear me at school anyway, please try and go find something to do over the break or over the summer, whether that be in education. Go try and TA at one of the elementary schools. I know I'm working with Mrs. Mammon and a couple teachers at MPE to work and see if we could have elementary school. The elementary school is actively looking for high school students to TA over the summer. If you guys have time to do that, do that. If you guys are interested in, roofing, go try and join the National Women in Roofing. If you want to play a sport, go play a sport. Do something. Right, and it's very important, and I'm really glad to be in Manassas Park because we put such an emphasis on being well-rounded, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. And I just really wanted to say thank you, and I'm so glad I'm in Manassas Park.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna feel the feelings. Last thing I want to add, and it's not a shock to anyone in this room, but since there are probably 6 people watching on the internet right now, one or more might be interested in this little tidbit. We will have an opening coming up soon on the board. After 15 years, I will be stepping back and pursuing some other lines of work, specifically within the nonprofit. Like to get involved with Bell, like to create some opportunities for our students in this community, and that takes money. And I want to go out there and help gather some of that cheddar for this community so we can continue to do great things, both inside the school building and outside of it. So I will be stepping back, but that means there will be a vacancy on this board. So I would encourage anybody who is listening and is interested in coming on the school board to reach out to me, reach out to my board mates. I don't know the specifics just yet of the timeline, but I wanted you all to know in case anyone was interested. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and take a brief recess before we continue our meeting under closed section under the relevant sections of Virginia Code. So with that, we are recessed for about 5 minutes. Are we good with the...